Hey everybody, welcome back to Football Talk with Coach Chip, episode number 33, the Tony Dorsett episode. I wish I'd have started doing that back at episode 1 when we were talking about the jet sweep and all that kind of stuff, and just come right on into every episode I'd have given a different player's number. Kind of everybody has different numbers or different players' numbers that when they hear that number, that's what they think of. When I say everybody, football people. I guess basketball people too, to a certain degree. But bless their hearts, basketball people are limited. Numbers don't go all the way to 99 unless you count Crazy Rodman when he went 99 for a season or two. But today we're going to talk about read plays. A lot of my good friends are defensive coaches and defensive coordinators, guys I've known over the years. And almost to a man, they'll tell you one of the things they detest about to defend is a running quarterback. And I don't think that should be a surprise to any football fan, especially a college football fan, especially an Alabama football fan, because even the great Bama teams of the last 10 years have had a hard time defending athletic running quarterbacks. And when you start throwing read game into it, that just brings a whole new level to playing defensive football. It's almost like playing with an extra man. If you go back and look at the old days when everybody was under center, if you weren't running triple option from under center, you were playing offense with 10 people on running plays. The best a quarterback could do after a handoff was carry out a fake. And as a kid, learning the game, and then as a young adult, I always wondered what is up with and I know it's because of the injury factor, but in the NFL, they didn't even carry out fakes. They just, go back and hand the ball. You go back and look at the Pittsburgh Steelers teams of the 70s. There wasn't, unless they were throwing the football, they were playing offense with 10 people because Bradshaw wasn't a running threat. The Raiders teams my beloved Raiders of the 70s and 80s, they played with, and I'm just using them examples, they're playing with 10 guys. Because once you hand the ball off, the quarterback's through. Again, you carry out boot fakes and play action fakes, and one of the things I love that started happening with, after not the complete death, but the semi-comatose extent of option football that has taken over in the last 20 years. When I say option, I mean wishbone and split back veer and the old eye stuff like Nebraska ran, is the gun and the spread have brought back having an athlete at quarterback. And you think back, you go back, Cam Newton 40 years ago would have been a tight end or a defensive end. He's a great athlete. He probably would have played in the NFL, whatever position he was in. Okay? 30 years ago? Absolutely. All your running quarterbacks. Manziel probably would have been a wide receiver. Okay? Even though he's not thought of as a running quarterback, but he's very athletic. So one of the things I love about the spread gun type stuff, and when I say spread, I'm using a generic term, like calling all, soft drinks down here in the South. Growing up, all soft drinks were Coke. You go into a restaurant and say, I'll have a Coke. So we carry Pepsi. Oh, that'll do. It was all the same to us. And so when I say spread, it's because I know generic term, a lot of people, not true, air raid or leech or mummy, but any type of spread gun football. When you incorporate RPOs, which we've talked about, and we're going to talk about again, I've got a guest coming in. I hope to record it on Sunday evening. And it'll be up Sunday night, I hope. We're going to talk about some RPO game. Talk about the triggers. And when you start talking about RPOs, or just run read, almost like triple option football, which I've shown you. If you go back, I went back and looked at it, the episode that had to do with the power scheme and the read scheme. I know what it was. Go back and look at episode 13 and 14. And that's on the read plays, power read, and the power scheme and all the things you can do with the power scheme. And that's what we're going to look at today. Let's look, and they're not all power. I'm going to present to you 4 plays, and they're not all power. 3 of them are power blocking, and 1 of them is good old GT, counter trey, some of you call it. And we're going to deal with that today. All right. Also, real quick, I've had folks that, and I've told you I got several that have talked to me through emails and through the comments below. And please do that. Email is siegel.chip@gmail.com. You can hit me up on Facebook at Chip Siegel. And there's 2 of us on there. There's one you'll obviously see. The other guy's a young cat, about 30 years old. And that ain't me. See, and then it's Coach Chip on Facebook and Chip Siegel on Twitter. And hit me up. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to have a dialogue with you. But I had one young guy ask me, Coach, do you carry all the stuff? Y'all run all this? No. A lot of this stuff, I mean, we've done it in the past because I've shown you some video of us doing it. Like today, I'm going to show you video that I absconded with from off YouTube of a couple of these things. And they're things we have done. We just didn't do it well enough or for me to show it to you, or we did it so long ago I don't have the video anymore. So, but no, all this stuff, all these passing things and all these RPOs, no, we don't do all that. Have we done it in the past? Yes. Have I coached it in the past? Some of it, yes. Some of it is very expensive, and it depends on what the team and what we've been doing. Have we got everything else in, and who are we playing? Will this work? And some of these things I've taken them and put them in the playoffs. A lot of the read stuff that I show y'all were playoff cut-ups because through the year we may practice it all along through the season, but didn't need it during the season. Like in 17, there were a lot of things we broke out in the playoffs, and folks say, you just put a whole new play in? Well, no, it came off on something else, but it was something we practiced, off and on throughout the year. So by the time you get to the playoffs, you're talking 14 weeks of practice since the 1st of August. And then you start putting these things in. And there's been things we practice, like on trick plays or just something totally different that we practice all along. And I tell the kids, hey, y'all keep winning. Sooner or later, we're going to break this puppy out. So let's get started and let's look at some different read concepts. And the first one we're going to look at is the power read. Okay, here you see our power read. If you go back again, episodes 13 and 14, you'll see this, and you'll see these cut-ups again as we talk more about the power blocking. So I'm not going to get as much into how to block the thing. So if you're looking at it and you have questions, go back to episodes 13 and 14. And that's a shameless way of trying to get more views on those videos. By the way, we're up to 400 subscribers, and the very first video, episode 1 on the jet sweep drill, over 1,100 views. Wow. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I really do. Don't forget to share this with your friends. Share it on your social media. Share it with all your coaching buddies or any of your friends that are football people that just want to know more about football or why coaches do some of the things they do. All right, now here's the power read. You can see up front it's basic power blocking, but instead of J blocking or kicking out on the defensive end, we're going to read him. And I will talk a little bit about the blocking. You got to stress to that pulling guard, that wrapping guard. You got to stress to him, do not go to the end. When you're pulling, that end is sitting out here, right here. Don't go to him. You got to climb to backer. And it's hard. If you're coaching kids, I've always been told don't pass anything up, and they see that end out there unblocked. It's hard for them to pass him up, but you got to tell them, only block him if he squeezes all the way down on your path. Get on your path. Do your skip pull. Get downhill off those down blocks, scraping paint off of their butts. And get to that backer. If there's no backer, keep on going to safety and make a touchdown block. But guys, they can't go out here and kick your read man. That's the biggest thing that will blow this play up post snap is blocking the read. Do not block the read. Just stress to those guards from day one when you're putting in power scheme. Okay, stress to them. Say, don't block the end. Either we're going to kick him, okay, or we're going to read him. Don't block the end unless he's on your path. If you got to come off your path to get him, you're wrong. All right, so here's what we do. Snap the ball quarterback. Quarterback's going to seat the ball, belt buckle extended, because he can't look at the running back. And that was the biggest thing to get out of the quarterbacks when we went to this years ago. Is it get that out of his mind. He can't look at the mesh. The back is responsible for the mesh. He's going to get a big old pocket. Okay, I'm actually doing the pocket right for read left, y'all. It's just the camera's flipping it on me. Boom, right here. And the running back's going to find that football. And that's why he needs to do it. Belt buckle extended. So it's in the same place every time. So the running back can find the ball to mesh over the top of it. Okay? Now here's what I do when I'm teaching this. During our exchange drills, I call it mesh periods. We don't even practice power. We don't practice the counter. Okay, we just practice the reads. Okay, because if they can do the mesh on the reads, a straight handoff on a power, or a straight handoff on a counter, or a straight handoff on a buck, that's money. It's easy. All right, so he's going to belt buckle extended, the quarterback is. Tailback's going to come over the top of it, and he's going to mesh on it. Now, what I teach the quarterback is he's got to be reading that guy before the mesh ever even happens. He's looking at this guy. Okay? Don't wait until you mesh up with the running back. You got to be reading him from jump street. Get the ball, step off the midline and pivot and look dead at him. Look dead at your read with ball extended, belt buckle extended. Okay? If he squeezes, you disconnect and you run the ball right out here. Sometimes it'll bounce out here if that dog jumps in here. Okay? Now your H is trying to make you have a good clean hole right here to read by stepping at the outside leg of that DN, making that DN think, oh, he's trying to reach me. So he may squat or he may fight out if he thinks he's about to get hooked by that H, and that'll make your give right there. That you got to trust your other guys, your linemen, to make these blocks right here, and you're just looking right here. All right, so you're looking right here at this end, reading him, quarterback, and if he squeezes to the dive, you disconnect and you come right here, and you go right to the dog, outside backer, and you read that H's block. If he kicks him, you're keeping it right here. Okay, if the guy has come in because he sees the dive fake and we wind up hooking him right here, then you'll bounce it out here. All right, coaching points for the tailback. Again, he's responsible for the mesh. Make a big old pocket, get over the top of it. And what I tell the quarterback, you start reading it early, because I'm going to teach that tailback. If that ball's still in your gut, when you clear in the quarterback's front side foot, the foot, in this case, the right foot closest to the line of scrimmage, clamp down on it, it's yours. I tell the quarterback, you have lost the football, so to speak. Okay? You have lost the football. You're not going to get to run it if you leave it in there too long, because he's going to clamp down on it. All right, and you just got to rep it. And then we teach the tailback, press the A gap until, to use a good old Southern term, until you can't. That's C-A-I-N apostrophe T, can't. It's a word. If you don't believe it, go back and listen to Dr. Charles Stanley speaking at First Baptist Church, Atlanta, for about 40 years. He's going to say can't a whole lot, and he's got a doctorate degree. All right, so you're going to press right here, press that A gap until you can't. And when that thing gets clogged, you got that football, you bounce that joker out right here, just like that. Okay? And you'll see that. I'm going to show you how. Now, out here, we have never, I think we did it one time in a game, and we ran this play for years, and it was a friggin' catastrophe. It wasn't, I mean, it got tackled right here. It wasn't good. I'm not saying you can't do it. If you want to see somebody do this pretty well, they do it off their zone read a lot. Auburn does a heck of a job flipping that joker out here. And I've gone over there and watched them practice. Like I said, I was at the net for 11 years, and we're about a little over 20 miles from the Auburn practice facility. And we went over there, I don't know how many years, on the Sunday before we started practice on Monday. They usually started a few days before us, and we'd sneak over there and go in. And so we were kind of local, so we got run of the place and would walk around, and they rep the pee out of this joker right here. And I tried to figure out how they were having so much success, but short of them recruiting kids, I don't know what they did. But now this is read left. The Z just does a bubble. The X is doing the runoff stalk, as I call it. Threaten that cornerback, make him think you're going deep. As soon as he reacts to a run, you gear down, that's your squiggly lines, and you make your block. This is a great football play. All right, let's look at some highlights or some cut-ups of it. There you see, that's a pretty good one right there. I think this thing's going to, here we go. All right, now, what you see, you're going to see he misses a call. He thinks the call's come out here. We're going to block the P out of this dog right here with two guys. What should happen is a down block, back block right here. He's going to route to your backer right here. And we're going to read the kid right here with his hand on the ground. Okay, that's one thing, too. You got to make sure the kids don't know. When you say defensive end, they think the defensive end always the end guy. And I say he's walked up. You know, back in 1988, that was a defensive end. Okay? But they got to know that that's the cat we're going to read right there. I mean, that's the cat the H is going to block. The guy with his hand on the ground right here, in this instance, is the cat we're going to read. All right, and the tailback is going to take a little slide step, get downhill, press the A gap. Okay, and the quarterback get his eyes right here. I believe he's 83. And he's going to read him. And what we tell him is, it's two different ways to tell him. If you got a very athletic quarterback like number 4 right here, you may tell him, said, hey, if he can't tackle you, keep it. That's a pretty good coaching point. Another quarterback, you may say, hey, if he can tackle the dive, the running back, keep it. Okay, it just depends on what you want to do. With our kid, you know, like I said, this is the one that signed with Alabama, right here, Christian Story. You know, my thing to him was, if they can't tackle you, keep it. That was his read. If they can't tackle you, keep this end can't make a play on you, you keep it. Okay? I told him that one day, and he said, Coach, can't anybody tackle me? And I looked at him, he kind of grinned a little bit. All right, H is supposed to come out here and get the dog, so we get two guys on him. He wound up keeping the ball underneath. Okay, let's look at the next one. Now this is older brother. Same play. Do a little bit, good read right there. Now say the guy penetrated, but he knew, again, I told him the same thing. Can he tackle you? 44 couldn't tackle him. And so he keeps it. By the way, that flag you saw, that was an abomination. I want y'all to watch this. We were up by like 4 touchdowns. It was the third quarter, and we'd run this play several times. And you say, well, why were you running it when you were up by 4 touchdowns in the third quarter? Here's why. We were trying to get better at it. All right, and they're going to call this guy right here for holding. All right, y'all watch the H. Now, if that was holding, I'm a friggin' astronaut. Just call the game. I don't care what the score is. Okay, it's not your job to keep the score down. Any referee that says it is, then he ought to have his credentials removed. Now, you saw a couple of keeps. Boom, right there. Good job of fielding that bad snap. Watch him press the A-gap. There you go. He hit that thing straight. That's like a veer. Just like a veer. Boom, straight downhill. Just a little slide step. Give the quarterback a chance to catch it. And pivot. And he's downhill. See H getting out there on the dog. Quarterback's going to read this kid right here. And he just stayed out there. He just stayed out there. This is a case of he can't tackle the dive. If he can't tackle the dive, give it. Give it. Okay, so that's power read. All right, now let's look at the sweep read. Okay, it's power blocking again. You're reading the same kid, the defensive end, but now this time the quarterback is the dive. I've heard some people call this upside down veer. I just call it sweep read. Okay, because I want to differentiate it from the power read that you just saw, the downhill with the tailback. Now this is always on all of these sideways right here. I teach the quarterback one mesh, shuffle, shuffle. He gets 2 shuffles. So I tell him, as soon as you catch the football, belt buckle extended as your eyes go straight to your read. Your eyes go straight to your read. You're going to catch the ball and go straight to your read. Again, the running back is responsible for the mesh. Oh, something I left out a while ago, and it applies to this one too. Okay? If the ball ends up on the ground, it's the quarterback's responsibility because he knows whether he gave it or not. The back on the downhill, the one we just watched, and this one doesn't know. If he doesn't have it, he should be carrying out a fake and not looking back for the football. That was something we had to break them of because they were worried about the ball being on the ground because we stress ball security so much that if they didn't get it, they'd look back. They'd look back. And as soon as they do that, that's a dead giveaway that they don't have it. All right, so you teach the quarterback, he's responsible for the ball. Now, the tailback's responsible for the mesh, okay? But the quarterback knows whether or not he gave the ball or not. The running back doesn't know if the quarterback kept it or if the ball's on the ground, and we don't want him looking back. So you tell the quarterback if he's not sure, he needs to be looking on the ground for the football if he meant to give it, okay? And so he's responsible for that. All right, so you got to show, he's going to get the ball, belt buckle extended, eyes going, catch it, belt buckle extended, eyes go straight to your read. Remember, catch it first. Straight to your read. Running back is meshing up over the top, same thing, but he's going lateral this time, and quarterback's looking at the DN. Okay, it's an inverted read this time. If he squeezes or sits, we teach him to keep it. Okay, and the good point here is, can he make a play on the sweep? And he's running sweep. I tell the running back it's just like he's running jet, except he doesn't get ahead of steam. He's coming right across right here, and he's getting outside. He don't want to put his foot in the ground like he's running buck and go right here. That's not cool. All right, because then the end can kind of sit, make the quarterback give it by sitting, and then jump right here and make the play. All right, so what you want to do is teach that quarterback, put your cone out there and say, hey, you got to get out there on that cone. Okay, when you're drilling it, anything, or when you're doing it in a game, in practice, go stand out there. Say, get to me before you cut up because you want to get away from this guy we're not blocking. You don't want him to be able to play 2 people. All right, now the blocking on the outside is real easy. Stalk 1, stalk 2, stalk 3. This case here, he's stacked right here. I think most teams may put him out here a little bit, okay, to give you, but some teams won't. They may bring the safety over here to give you the 3 over 3 and play the dog apex between the 2 of them. All right, but still it's 1, 2, 3. We're not going to block the safety. Okay, if number 3 is here, H has got him. If number 3 is over here, stacked, H has still got him. Okay, so that's how we block it. Now we're not reading the stack backer, so the stack backer stays inside. That puller is going to get him. Okay, that puller is going to get him because you got enough people. You're not blocking Will. Now if Will's a heck of a player and comes right here and makes the play on the dive, that's great. Look, ball was right here. He made the play right here, 4 or 5 yard gain. That's good football. If you average 4 or 5 yards per running play all year, that's a heck of an offense. So this is our sweep read right here. Let's look at some cut-ups of it. All right, here's your sweep read. See, 44 couldn't make the tackle on the sweep, so he gave it. He kind of came upfield a little bit, but he came up in such a way, and he was kind of cocked inside, just a grunt, and the quarterback knew he can't tackle the sweep. And the way they were lined up, we had 3 on 2 out there. H should have blocked 52. 52 is kind of slow and couldn't get there. H should have blocked number 3. But I asked him, I believe it was Saturday or Sunday through text, and I asked him, I said, why did you, on clip so-and-so, why did you, he goes, well, the safety. And I said, no, the safety doesn't count. So you got to stress that to your guys on your count, on your jet sweep, on your sweep, on your read sweep. You got 1, 2, 3. So he should have got 1, 2, 3. And that's not the safety, that's the corner. But safety's back over here. 1, 2, 3. That's number 3 right there. Okay? It's a good football play. in. This one right here got this kid a scholarship, a Division I FCS scholarship. Talking about the running back. We didn't do the best job in the world of blocking it, but he definitely earned his pregame meal right here. So you can see the read, power blocking inside, reading him. Big old slow kid, more of a D tackle playing D end. And when he came up the field, the quarterback knew he can't tackle the sweep. Watch him. He comes up the field. He can't tackle the sweep. Now, our guard messed up. So here's what I'm talking about. Guys, this is in the playoffs. And look at the guard go block him. Oh, get on your track. He should have been blocking this guy right here. And if he'd have blocked him, he wouldn't have had to do that. Okay? All right, last one on the power sweep. And I know this is good. We're 26 minutes in. That's okay. It's good stuff. Good fake. Look at him. By the way, that's a cheeseburger for the running back. Look at what a fake. Got 4 guys running. One guy tackled him. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. He got 1, 2, 3. Watch him. That's 4. 5 kids going there. You show me a block where you can take 5 people with you. I don't know what Z's doing out here. He's thinking he's supposed to bubble, I reckon. Look how many kids run to the... That's just amazing. When you get fakes like that, you don't have to have as many good blocks, do you? All right. Now, this is the counter bash, and we've tried running this over the years. We've never been really good at it. I don't understand why. Because to me, the read is the same as you're reading the end. It's the same as the power sweep read. Okay, it's a cross face. The only difference is if this guy runs to the sweep or sits, the quarterback keeps it, and then he runs the GT counter with your right tackle and your right guard. And the line's just blocking GT counter. And I've actually had situations where they didn't even know what was going on behind them. And that's fine. But I don't understand why we had trouble running it. If any of y'all got any coaching points on that, let me know. But what I love about this, they're still blocking the sweep read. He's got 1, he's got 2, he's got 3. Quarterback's still reading the end. It's just a different reaction. He's still running the power sweep, just like that. So you're getting, when you're doing repping one, you're repping the other for these 4. 1 for the Y, the Z, the H, and the running back. That's 4 guys getting reps, whether you're running the bash or you're running the sweep read. Okay, they're getting the same reps. All right, the quarterback's the ones getting different reps, and your linemen, it don't matter to them. They're down there in inside run blocking GT and blocking power, and they don't care what's going on behind them. Okay, because all kind of things can be going. We could be running straight counter with the back or with the quarterback, or we can be running read. And that to me, I call that stealing reps, and that's a good thing. That's a real good thing. Okay, so it's the same thing. You just got a different point of attack for the quarterback. You got the same mesh, belt buckle extended, eyes go to the read, running back still responsible for the mesh. Okay, meshing over the football, quarterback still responsible for the ball, making sure it gets in or making sure he's got it. And if this guy is well coached and their scheme requires him to squeeze when he gets that or chase that puller, then the quarterback's going to leave it in the running back's belly, and we're going to run sweep out here with these 4 guys, the running back and the 3 wide receivers. Okay? And if the guy runs up the field or widens or even sits where he can't do anything, then the quarterback's going to keep it. And it depends. And again, when you have a very athletic quarterback, the guy, if you want him to run the football, your coaching point to him is this: can he tackle you? And if the answer is no, then you tell that kid, the quarterback, to keep it. Can he tackle you? Now, you're more of a running back. You want that running back to get it. Then you teach him this: can he tackle the tailback? If the answer is no, you give it. So you can't do it both ways, in my opinion. You got to give that quarterback one read, one rule. Don't give him if-thens. You give a guy a lot of if-thens on read. To me, you give him more than one. You're in trouble unless he's just really gifted. So you tell him, can he tackle the quarterback, or can he tackle you, or can he tackle the running back? That's simple. Now, I don't have any cut-ups from us doing this in the past. Like I said, we didn't do it very well. I wish I had. We always delete practice video to save space on Huddle. But I found some on YouTube. Let's go look at that. All right, now you're going to see this one is off of a jet action. And I'm not big on reading the jet, but you can do it this way. You're going to see counter away. That's what bash means, is back away. The counter is away from the running back. So in this case here, when the quarterback determined he can't tackle the jetter, the sweeper, so and they're running it to the weak side, so they're already down some numbers, and you're taking a guy out of the equation by reading him right here. Okay, now I prefer doing it with the running back set to the left or to the right of the quarterback, because I don't like reading the jet, because I like my guy going so fast. And I know people do it. That's not you saying you can't do it. Here's the same play again. Watch, you're going to read right here. Here's your read. See, they're blocking counter back over here to the left. As we look at it, to the left, the defensive left. And they're just running the jet. Okay, without blocking it. All right, here it is again with the counter action. And the quarterback gets the keep, and he checks out. Again, they're reading this guy right here. Down here. Right here. See, he came straight up the field. He could have played the sweep. So the quarterback kept it. He trusted his line to be blocking on the backside. Okay, that's bash. Remember, bash stands for back away from the blocking. Back away. You can call it what you want to. Again, reading right here, he knew he could make the play. And they had him outnumbered when they pulled those two big old linemen. They had him outnumbered. Now, the last one I want to share with you is the shuffle read. And this is power blocking as well. Okay? You're going to read that end again. And you go back and look at it. Okay? On all four of these, we're putting the end in conflict. That's an old wing T term. If you can't read it, that Delaware wing T in order of football. Okay? And those things are in limited supply. Putting defensive players in conflict is where it's at. All right, you can do that in the spread gun look, just as easy as you can do that under center running the wing T. I still run wing T principles. Even if I'm running a play that has no wing T principles, no gap scheme, let's say, which is very few, I am going to go back to my training under the Pope, Tubby Raymond, okay? I'm not getting rid of that stuff, guys. I went through the whole thing, learned the secret handshake, rode the goat, the whole 9 yards. I was deep into wing T. But even though I'm not running true wing T anymore, that wing T's still in me. And it's not an offense. It's not a group of plays. It's an order of football. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of approaching the game from an offensive point of view. Reading this end is like putting him in conflict on the buck sweep and on the down. Okay? But you're not guessing. You're not going, he did this on the previous play, so I'm going to do this. That's one of the reasons why I like doing this kind of football. All four of these plays, we're putting that end in conflict. And as long as your quarterback makes the right read, he can't be right. All right, now here's what I mean by that. All right, you take the snap. You get trips over here. You take the snap. You get some depth, and you're rolling right here because you want to create some distance. It's not downhill like you'd run a speed option. Okay, tailback's got to get a little bit wider. This play is a tad bit expensive because they're doing some different things. Your skill kids are. Your quarterback is not downhill running option, so to speak. He's got to fan out a little bit. All right, then get downhill to create a pitch relationship with your H, who's coming down the line just like he would if you were running counter with him. And he's turning up in here just like he would if he was going to block. All right, the tailback, the running back, is getting width so he can get in pitch relationship. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what pitch relationship is. That's what you got to figure that out. Heck, we want 4 to 5 yards. I never could get it. I remember telling back when we used to run wishbone stuff, I told the running back, I said, I want you 8 yards. And one of the other coaches one day heard me and said, 8 yards, good grief, coach, that's a long pitch. I said, he'll never get 8 yards, but I'll get the 4 or 5 I want because he thinks he's at 8. Heck, I've told fullbacks in the wing T days on the waggle to go 2 yards down the field on their flat route. That way they wouldn't go deeper than 5 yards down the field on their waggle flat route. And you got to meet them where they are, okay? And if you keep telling them the same thing over and over again, and they keep giving you the same thing over and over again, you got to change what you're telling them. And so I'll tell him 8 yards. It's going to get me the 4 or 5 that I want for a pitch relationship. Now remember, quarterback's responsible for this pitch relationship. Running back's responsible for this pitch relationship. So the quarterback's going to get his width to give him a pitch relationship. If that end runs upfield to the quarterback, it's an underneath flip, just like that. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you the team that ran it the best. And that was the Florida Gators and Tim Tebow and them. They just flip that thing underneath, boom. And the great thing about it is if he drops it, it's an incomplete pass, okay? Unless you've got officials that don't know the rules of football, which that did happen to us about 15, 16 years ago. I kid you not. We near about went crazy. But they huddled up and they fixed it. But the very fact that they had to huddle up on a drop pass, okay, it's mind-boggling, okay? All right, so if he runs upfield, you're going to pitch it underneath, okay? If he sits on it, okay, he keeps going. If that dog comes to him, now he pitches to him. X, of course, and I didn't put him out here what to do. You can stalk with him, or if they're in man, you can run him off. Okay, that's up to you, whatever you need to do. All right, so if it's an upside down option, is what some people, I had a coach one time, he used to do no huddle stuff. He called it pineapple. I said, pineapple? He said, yeah, like pineapple upside down cake. I thought to myself, these kids don't know pineapple upside down cake, man and moon. But anyway, the kids learned what pineapple was. And so the upside down option, end comes to him, pitch it underneath. And you're power blocking inside. Same power blocking we did on 2 of the others. Okay, just flip it underneath. If the end sits, okay, if the end sits and takes away the underneath pitch, carry it on out here. Quarterback's going to keep it if the dog outside backer doesn't come to him. If he comes to him, he's going to do an option pitch right here to your running back. And you can put him in pistol, or you can put him over here offset. Whatever you need to do to get him in pitch relationship does good. All right, let's look at some video on it. All right, see right here? Boom. The end didn't come to him, but the end expanded. Got width. And again, he couldn't make the play on the H, on the underneath flip. See your guard pulling on the linebacker right there? They're just power blocking it, y'all. Had 2 guys fitting up outside. They didn't have to block both of them. You can see it's obviously this is CBS Sports. It's a good job right there by the quarterback. He's pretty good. I wonder whatever came of him. He knew how to read it, didn't he? See, there's your triple option right there. You got 1 option, 2 option, 3 options. Triple option football from the spread and from the gun. That's good stuff. Well, I wonder what happens if you pitch it. They tricked me. I wonder what happened to 81. He was a good college football player, too. I wonder where he is these days. I hope my sarcasm isn't lost on y'all. See how tight that was? That was a tight little pitch inside. See, he runs to the quarterback, underneath pitch. There was somebody doing it to Florida. How'd you like that? That's good stuff right there. Look, they reversed it. Teams that were keying on 81, because 81 was their main guy. Y'all may remember them when Alabama beat them, I think it was in 9 in the SEC championship game. It's because they took away 81 on that thing. But this is a good job right here of changing it up. And I want to say the guy that's the current head coach at Florida was still the OC at the time. Very creative. All right, guys, that's going to be enough right there. All right, here we go. You have just witnessed the longest football talk with Coach Chip in the history of football talk with Coach Chip on YouTube. It's been episode 33. Remember, click it, view it, like it, share it, hit the little bell, subscribe to it, so when I upload stuff, you'll be alerted to it. It don't cost anything. Share it with your friends. I'm just having fun. Okay, just having fun, especially during this Corona hiatus. By the way, in case you didn't know, today is Thursday. Duh. It's April 30th. So I got to look at my phone every day to see what day it is. Okay, but now this 6th Saturday in a row business, waiting on Sunday, is killing me. All right, guys, y'all stay safe. Remember, keep doing what the experts say. I told you in the last episode, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Comment down below, click on that bell, subscribe to it, like it, share it. Do all those things. Come on, it's like Gap Down Backer, baby. Gap Down Backer. View it, subscribe to it, share it. Okay? All right, be elite. I'll see you next time. God bless you.